Hey guys, it's Toby and we're going to be building a gaming PC for £400. Let's go. Alright, first of all we're going to be using the AMD FX 6300. This is a 6-core processor clocked at 3.5 GHz. Now, this is arguably one of the best processors in the world right now in terms of price and performance. You get a lot of value for your money here. If you're ever doing anything that is CPU intensive, such as video editing or rendering, or if you're ever playing a game that's CPU intensive, this is going to perform really well. And as well as this, if you ever plan on overclocking, you can easily do that too. It's clocked at 3.5 GHz and you can easily turbo boost it to 4.1 right out of the box. And as well as this, if you ever plan on going any further, like to say 5 GHz or something, you can easily do that too, but you'll need an aftermarket cooler which is not included in this build. Moving on to the motherboard, we're going to be using an MSI 970A-G43. This is a relatively inexpensive motherboard and you get a lot of value for your money here. You get 2 USB 3.0 ports on the back as well as support for front panel USB. You get your usual over half a dozen USB 2.0 ports. You get 2 PCI X16 slots, however they're PCI 2.0. But the performance there is relatively similar. You get your usual 6 SATA 3 ports, so you can get 6 gigabits a second transfer rate from your hard drives. Moving on to the graphics cards, we're going to be using an AMD Radeon HD 7770. Now, this is relatively old compared to something like an R9 280X. However, it's still going to perform really well in most games, and the main thing here is that it's under £100 and it's going to get you into the gaming. Games like Battlefield 4 or Crysis 3 will perform really well on this GPU if you play them at around medium to high settings. You can't max them out or go all the way to ultra because that just isn't possible. You can play them at around medium to high and it'll perform really well and get you like around 45 FPS without a problem at all. If you're playing any kind of old game that was released like around 2013-ish backwards, it'll perform really well in them and you can probably max those out. Overall, it's a relatively good graphics card and you can also upgrade this in the future, and we'll be talking about that at the end of the video. Coming on to the RAM, we're going to be using 8 gigs of Corsair XMS3. Now, this is really good RAM considering it's from Corsair. The heat spreaders on this RAM aren't as good as say something like the Vengeance series, however they still perform really well, and it's clocked at 1600 MHz, so it'll perform really quickly. You can also overclock this as well, but you wouldn't go to say something like 2133 because the heat spreaders can't really handle that. 1866 will perform really well, and as well as this, it's only one stick of 8, so you can get another stick of this and you'll get 16 gig of RAM in the future. Coming onto the hard drive, we're going to be using a 1TB Seagate Barracuda. Again, this is going to be more than enough to store like all of your music, games, videos, etc. If you want more, you can upgrade to a 2TB version of this hard drive, and there's also a 500 gig version. However, 1TB is usually the way to go here. Coming onto the power supply, we're going to be using a Corsair CXM430. This is a 430 watt power supply. As well as this, it's also modular, which is what the M stands for. And this means that you can use all the connection leads that you need to and not have any lying around inside your case. And as well as this, it's also 80+ bond certified, which means you'll get clean and efficient power. Finally, coming onto the cases, we have 2 options here. The first one is the Antec One MIDI Tower case. This is a great case, it's designed really well, it's got good airflow, it's got front panel USB 3.0, which means you can use the header on our motherboard. As well as this, it will support really large graphics cards, say if you upgrade to something crazy like a AMD R9 280X or 290X. Or a GTX 780, it will support that really well, and it's got good airflow and usual stuff that you expect from any case. It's designed really well and it performs really well. An alternative is the NZXT Source 210. This is a great case. Again, it's about the same as the Antec One MIDI Tower case. Got front panel USB 3.0 ports, good airflow, everything that you would expect, and it's designed really well as well. Now we're approaching the end of the video, so we're going to talk about a few upgrades. Here we have the Asus GTX 770. This is one of the best graphics cards in the world right now, apart from like the 780 or the R9 290X. But yeah, this performs really well and you can easily upgrade this from the 7770 in the future and you'll get much better graphical performance from all of your games, and you can play most, if not all, at ultra to high settings. Another potential upgrade is to the processor. Here we have the AMD FX 8350. This is an upgrade to the FX 6300. It's got 8 cores rather than the 6 cores of the 6300. And it'll perform better in anything that's CPU intensive. And finally, you might need more power, so you can get the Corsair CXM500. This is a 500 watt power supply. Again, it's modular, same as the 430, just gives you more power, so you can put in a stronger graphics card or even a faster processor and you can get a better overclock. And yeah, that's it guys, thanks for listening. Leave us a like if you like this video, leave us some feedback down below in the comments, check out the links in the description for all of the products, and if you're ever planning on buying anything, please use our links, as that will really help us grow. Check out the rest of our content on the channel and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.